What is up, my fellow conspirator and conspirators? Welcome to the Underground Marketing Conspiracy. Woo! I have never been this excited to have someone on my show before, and I'm going to tell you, I've been following this guy for a few years now. I started seeing him when he was building funnels for Russell Brunson, and I saw him speak at Funnel Hacking Live the last 2 years, and I was like, oh, this guy is absolutely awesome. So someone that I had to get on the show. He is the king of offer creation, all right? He's also a fellow capitalist pig, just like me, even though I'm from socialist Canada. So I want to introduce everyone to my special guest, Mr. Steve Larsen. Steve, how are you?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Doing good.
Awesome, buddy. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about capitalism. You guys might have noticed I actually busted out my special capitalist piggy bank up there, all right? Just because I wanted to represent. So, Steve, why do you love capitalism so much?
It actually goes back to entrepreneurship itself. One of the things I love about entrepreneurship is that I have to grow in order for it to be successful, which sucks and is not fun sometimes, but it's the reality. You know what I mean? And so people are like, oh, I got to make a product. I got to go sell it. You also have to build a business, which is different than the product, but then you also have to build yourself. Right. And that's the thing that I love so much about it. The thing I love most about capitalism is that it is a direct machine that allows me to know if I've actually put value into the marketplace. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what my opinion is. If I'm like, hey, I can't tell if this is going to be good or bad or whatever. I mean, I got to go ask the marketplace, and the marketplace is a zeros, ones, black and white, clear line. Yes, we like that. No, we don't. And that's the reason I like capitalism so much. Honestly, it's like a direct feedback system that's always open.
I see. What about communism? What do you think about communism and socialism in general? I'm just curious.
Just throw up in my mouth a little bit.
I know what you mean, man. I mean, when I think of all the economic ways the world could work, capitalism is the best. It's not perfect, but in my opinion, it's the absolute best one, to be honest. I'm curious, have you ever read any Ayn Rand? Do you know Ayn Rand at all? Oh, dude, you would absolutely love her work. It's all about, if you're a libertarian, it has this philosophy called objectivism. I mean, that would alone give you so much material for your capitalist pig stuff. All right.
Oh, sweet. Good to know.
Awesome. All right. So you built funnels for many years now. I've seen some of your work. It's some of the best I've honestly seen, when it comes to just design and copy and really just offers and sales messages. So what's the biggest mistake you see people do these days when they're building their funnels, or when they're just starting out with this whole ClickFunnels world?
Honestly, one of the biggest mistakes they make is that they make it for themselves. You know, again, they think that they're the ones buying it. I wouldn't buy that. You're not the one buying it. So stop caring so much. As long as it's ethical and moral, I don't care what I sell.
Sure.
As long as it is something that people want to buy. And, so it's funny because there's always that, people are like, oh, you got to be passionate. You got to be passionate. That certainly helps. But in order to actually turn a dollar, you don't, it helps tremendously. And if you want to make it this long life career, if you want to go do, then it certainly starts to become more and more important. But I don't actually think passion is essential. I was passionate about us just not starving. You know what I mean? Okay. Not necessarily about the diamond business we were creating in college one time. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Awesome. And yeah, with you too, I think one of the biggest reasons you've been so successful too is you publish a lot of content consistently. I took your steps to start my whole podcast where Steve's like, do this. And I'm like, okay, Steve, I'll do it. And the next thing I'm like, do this. And I'm like, cool. And I'm checking everything off as I go. And I've been publishing very consistently. So why do you think it's so crucial for entrepreneurs and just businesses to start publishing so much and so consistently as well?
I heard a stat a while ago, and I don't know if it's correct, but the principle is kind of neat. It's like, hey, 20 years ago, there were 500 ads and brands you'd see every day. And today it's an average of 5,000 ads and brands that everyone's exposed to. It's gotten to a point now where I made a post once on my page, and I was like, we're no longer in the information age alone. We're in the age of attention, where the loudest is likely to get paid, not the best. And it ruffled some feathers when I said that. There's a few people who got really mad about that, but it's true, right? I mean, if somebody is how many people watching or listening to this now or whatever, like, you know, somebody who is worse than you, who's making more money than you.
Yeah.
And it's the exact reason, right? And so I believe that if you are good, which I think you should be, try to be awesome, you know, if you are good, if you are awesome, if you owe it to your message to get as loud as you physically can. Otherwise, you know, you're going to save your customers, your prospective customers, from buying from somebody else who maybe couldn't serve them the way you could. And so if you're good, you know, get loud. No one knows you exist if you're not loud anymore.
Yeah, that's so true. It's about, you talk a lot too about like finding your voice over time, right? Like when you first start out, you're not going to be good, right? It's something where like the first time you step up to the plate, you know, you just have to kind of suck it up because you're not going to be great. And that's something that I've done. It's like, oh, whatever. And you look back and you're like, oh my God, I've gotten so much better. And it focuses you to create more content. Now, one cool thing is that you've created this kind of like web of funnels. Like there's all these different domains that you own, which I've never seen anyone do this. And it's like this intricate thing. And I'll be funnel hacking sometimes and I'll see the links. Like each of your funnels has a unique domain. Like, why do you do this? And do you think everyone else should do this for specific offers and for specific funnels?
Fantastic question. Actually, we were just having a debate about this in the inner circle, Russell's inner circle.
Wow.
Someone was like, I'm going to go do a podcast. Should I go put it on for example, they were like, it was for them though. Should I go put it on stevelarsen.com/podcast? Or should I go put it on podcast.com/Steve? You know what I mean? How should I set that up? And I had someone teach me that if you're going to be consistent on stuff and you're going to be building things out, it's their opinion. I'm not an SEO expert, but their opinion was that it's better to own lots of different properties that then tie to each other. You kind of end up owning more island, you know? And so that's kind of what I've tried to do rather than grow one thing really big. Now we do that with content and try to go really deep with content and own a lot of SEO there. But when it comes to the domains, there's a few schools of thought that I follow. One is, like I said, just to kind of make the ship really big. You know, everything's connecting together. The other, though, is that I learned this from Russell, is that I would watch him. He wouldn't go after a project until he could get a good domain for it, specific to that project. And the domain was some kind of call to action usually, you know, or at least would kind of give an idea of what their offer is going to be. Funnel graffiti, traffic secrets, you know, whatever that would be. So we do the exact same thing, where it is, I don't want to go for a project unless I can get some domain that has a call to action in the domain or represents the blue ocean in the domain, you know? So that stands out alone like that.
I know a lot of marketers, like Frank Kern talks a lot about this just in terms of branding, and Gary Halbert, one of his, I don't remember which letter, but one of his, he talks about that as well. He's like, you know, you need to get that. And SEO wasn't even big back in his day. So obviously these days it's something. And one thing I find cool with you is like your email structure is something that I've hacked as well, where it's like, there's like the whole body copy of the email. Then at the bottom, it's like, hey, step 1, like go do this. Step 2, do this. And it's all your little emails as well. And when I actually went through that the first time, I was like, this is like this makes total sense. Like, you know, and each time you add a new domain with a new offer, it's like more stuff you can send people to. And it's just this kind of infinite loop you send people through to find out more and more about you. Really just for long-term branding. Now,
totally. I started doing that because it was one of the first email projects I did with Russell, actually, to put that footer in the bottom of all his emails. And we forgot about tracking it or whatever, but it's probably like a year later, Todd walks in and he goes, we found a way to track all the revenue from that footer. It's like $100,000 a month, new money. And, you know, granted, it's probably not gonna be $100,000 a month for everybody, but it can still lead up to a lot of cash.
Yeah, exactly.
And just by having the option for buy stuff, they'll buy it.
Exactly. And the most important asset is in your business is obviously, you know, your customer database and your email list, right?
Yeah.
So it's like free money, basically. You just send it and it's like cha-ching. It's beautiful.
It's funny. There's been a few people this last month. I've been like, oh man, I would totally go get from this guy, but I actually don't know where to go. You know, I don't know where to buy from him. And like, I realized that I think a lot of times people just don't know what they could buy from us as entrepreneurs. And simply educating them, they're already ready to buy. There's a percentage that are ready to go, you know, so I just got to let them know where they can.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's Christmas, or sorry, it's New Year's Eve and a few days after Christmas. Stepping into a new decade, all sorts of new crazy stuff I'm sure is going to happen. So if you had a crystal ball, like what sort of predictions do you see happening in 2020, plus just over the next 10 years, I guess, in general?
Yeah, I think that SEO is going to come back for a second round of importance in people's minds. I think Facebook will become less important.
Mm,
Personally, not that it won't be. It's just we all felt the sting lately from Facebook,
sure.
so I think other platforms are going to get more aggressive with ads. I think free distribution is going to get just massive.
Yep.
It already is, but it's going to get so much larger.
Yep.
I think things like artificial intelligence is going to get bigger. It's going to make a big front here, I think, in the next decade. I also think that it really will become a truth that if you don't publish, like, good luck, Chuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's going to get so loud.
Yeah.
But in this funny sense, like, I actually believe that discipline is going to drop tremendously. Like, people are not going to go for stuff. People are going to take advantage of the fact that we have so much easy distribution. So it's funny because, like, on one side of the coin, it's going to get a little bit louder, but the number of people, like, it's been shown statistically now, our generation does not like to start businesses. They'd rather play Fortnite. And you know what I mean? So it's like, it's going to get louder, but in a lot of senses, it's actually going to get easier, in my opinion, to go out and make your dream come true. It already is quite easy if people just run the plays, but
Exactly.
I think it's what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I see so many people just standing in their ways sometime, but it's true though. I don't know why, like, I don't know if it's just my generation. I think though, like Generation Z is probably going to, honestly, like, I think they'll be more entrepreneurial just because they are a bit more conservative as well from what I've seen.
Sure.
That's just the nature, I guess. So like you have all these different domains. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about, like, what you're going to do, I guess, just coming up in general? Like, what do you have in the pipeline in terms of stuff you're working on right now?
I got several big projects coming down. Yeah, I'll tell you one though that has re-entered my mind
Ooh,
is about a month ago. Russell reached out. It was very nice of him to me and asked if I'd write a section of one of his chapters in the new Expert Secrets rewrite,
wow.
and it was such a huge honor. And I slaved on that thing, man, for about 5 days. Wrote 7,000 words, and he's like, "This is way more than I thought." And I was like, "You didn't tell me how much." So we whittled it down to 2,000. But it was really cool. He goes, "This is really good, Steven." He's like, "'Cause I'm having a hard time chopping. This is good." And it made me, I've always wanted to go write a book, but for some reason that really helped me resurface and be like, "Oh man, I could maybe go do that." It's like, it's rough. I don't like doing that, but I do at the same time.
Totally.
And so I think a book will be in order soon, but I'm so nervous to write a book because I feel like you
Yeah.
earn it. I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like
so
when you
true.
publish that
Yeah.
thing, I don't just want to spit out some book. It's got to be Expert Secrets worthy. I mean, it's got to be
Mhm.
really good. And
Mhm.
I'm nervous that I haven't earned the right to write that book.
Dude, honestly, like in my mind, you've totally earned that right. So I think, you have permission of everyone out there in not only like the ClickFunnels community, but just in the entrepreneurship. Like, dude, like I would buy
Thanks,
your
dude.
book if it came out. So, totally write that book because yeah, I'll be
Thanks,
your
man.
first customer on that. So awesome.
It's just funny to hear like Russell say that too. And I'll
I
be like,
know.
"You're Russell Brunson," but like
Yeah.
it's funny to hear you say it anyway. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Awesome, man. So, where can people find out more about you?
Honestly, the best place right now, just two. One is stevejlarsen.com. It's kind of the hub for everything.
Okay.
The other one is OfferLab. So go to myofferlab.com. I couldn't get OfferLab, so I put my in front of it. myofferlab.com. That's where we build people's funnels for them. So it's fun
Awesome.
stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And there you go. Back to that lesson, right? Get domains that have it. So when you have that call to action, it's like go to this.com. Even though I'm in Canada, I always buy the .com instead of .ca just because, there's more authority with that. So yeah, guys,
Sure.
check out stevejlarsen.com. Awesome stuff. Also, salesfunnelradio.com is one of my favorite places to find out more about his content as well. So totally
Thank you.
check that out. Steve, I really appreciate you taking up the time out of your extra super busy day to do this interview with me. And yeah, I look forward to talking with you in the future. And man, I wish you all the best and happy New Year in 2020, bud.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much, Matt. I appreciate it, man. This is awesome.
All right, man. Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Underground Marketing Conspiracy. I will see you guys next time. Woo!